God. I was watching a live stream earlier. I don't know if you realized it. Yeah. New island over there. Invincibility, nice. Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot it was invincibility. I don't know how I forgot, but I forgot. People forget, okay? And I forget really easily. You don't know how easily I forget stuff. That is a nightmare. Sorry if you hear a bunch of noises in the background. It's just my family. Payment cancelled. Server has been deactivated. We're in the process. We were not able to process the recurring payment. Join his. Oh, what the heck? Why do I do this? My birthday comes in like 4 days. My birthday comes in 4 days, and I'm gonna be getting. So yeah, my birthday is in 4 days. And in 4 days, I'm also gonna be getting a $20 gift card for Roblox. I don't think there even is a $20 gift card for Roblox, but whatever. I already know what I'm gonna buy with that $20 gift card. I know a lot of stuff that I want to buy and spend my Robux on. Mostly on Jailbreak. Just gonna start laying down. Okay, let's see. What can we play? Y'all guys can suggest what games I should play. So Mad City sucks. How about some Jailbreak? Nah. Let's see what I can do with this.
So what's going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video where today we are going to be talking about the one being Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man possibly returning in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, along with a few other Easter eggs we've seen in D Machine. I want to discuss what this could mean for the storyline. So as always, if you go on to enjoy today's video, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. But let's get into it. Here we go and enjoy. So in the trailer we got the other day, and we also saw part of this in the teaser we got a few weeks ago, on the Nectarine Totem building, there is graffiti absolutely everywhere. Obviously it's been run down for years. It is badly damaged compared to the last time we saw it, which was in the 1940s. This is now in the 1980s. We know the bunker has been abandoned for a long time, hence why there is graffiti everywhere. But at one point it was used by the Soviets, so as to who did the graffiti, we don't know. But if we take a look at the stairs, there is some writing on here which says the accursed one will rise again. Accursed pretty much means cursed. I don't think there's any big difference. So this is saying that the curse...
Actually, I have a theory on here. So there's a bunny on the box. Eddie has a toy bunny, stuffed bunny, and it's talking about a curse rising again. Last time the curse was Samantha. This curse might be Eddie. So just wanted to point that out.
This one will rise again. And then on the other staircase in Act it says, a world not my own. Also looking around the building, there is some interesting artwork. We have this one which a lot of people are saying looks like Brutus. I have to admit, with the face guard all broken, that does look like him with the red eyes as well. There is also this one which is a monkey skull in an astronaut suit, so people are saying this is the cosmic silverback. We then have the rabbit which we've seen on the mystery box, which seems like it's replacing Samantha's teddy bear. This is what we'll be seeing inside of the box now instead of that. And the big one, the major standout one, is this, a red demon-like face. All of this graffiti is going to be very important to the storyline. There is a reason why Treyarch specifically put these here. We may not know on day one, we may not know a year from now. It depends on how far they want to develop this story. But this graffiti, the writing, the images is important and relevant to the storyline. And so going back to the staircase where it says, the accursed one will rise again. Who is the cursed one? Well, we've heard of only the cursed survive previously. If we go back to Shadows of Evil, before the game released, as a promotion to that map, we had this poster where there is a person or a zombie holding the Mark of the Beast card, and it says, only the cursed survive. And if we listen to what the Shadow Man says to our characters in that map, Jessica, Floyd, Jack, he tells them that they are cursed. On their hands is the Mark of the Beast.
You bear the mark. You are cursed. You must place your hand upon the stone. They are coming. They have already corrupted this world with their twisted malfeasance. You are chosen. You are marked. You are cursed.
So in Black Ops 3 Zombies, the cursed ones were the Shadows of Evil cast. It was the Shadow Man that cursed them. It was him that sent them to this twisted version of Mug City that was twisted from reality. So if the Shadow Man had the ability to curse our characters, then was he the cursed one? What it means to be cursed, does it mean you are infected by the Dark Ether? If so, then that could be a bunch of characters, because at one point, Richtofen was infected by the Dark Ether, so was Maxis, Samantha, Dr. Monty, the Apothecans. All of these characters, are they the cursed ones? So maybe it's referring to the Shadow Man, but we have seen in the trailer Samantha Maxis. As I just said, at one point she was infected by the Dark Ether. When she first arrived in Dr. Monty's house in Origins, Monty took Samantha away, cleansed her of the Dark Ether, and restored her innocence. At least, that's what he told us. Which should mean then, at the end of Tag der Toten, when she walked into a new world with Eddie, she wouldn't have been infected by the Dark Ether. She shouldn't have had her powers because she only gained them after she touched the MPD back in 1945, when she was first corrupted. So after Origins, Samantha shouldn't have had her powers. She shouldn't have been corrupted by the Dark Ether. But if we go to Alpha Omega, in that ending cutscene, we can see Samantha did still have her powers. She used them to destroy Nuketown. Nothing happened to her between then and Tag der Toten, which should mean when she walked off into this new world at the end of Tag, she still has her powers. So if this is Samantha in Black Ops Cold War Zombies, does she still have powers now that she's grown up? She still had them at the end of Tag, so I can't see a reason why she wouldn't. Is she the cursed one then? Is she still infected by the Dark Ether? And in fact, even more evidence towards this is if we listen to one of the radios from Maxis we find in Alpha Omega.
Feedback. Turn the light. Work. Oh, that is much better. Everything is so complicated now, Edward. Remember when the world was a simple place? No time travel, no multiverses, no paradoxes, no existential crises. It is the ether. It is something. That thing is forever corrupted. It cannot be undone. Do you not see, Edward? Dr. Monty never planned on fixing anything. He could only start over. Well, he could fix it, but the cost of this would be too great, even to moment Element 115 came to Earth. The only way to prevent all of this, the only way to halt the unraveling of space and time, which, need I remind you, we are both directly and indirectly responsible for, would be to purge Element 115 from existence before it ever encountered humanity.
As you just heard, he says, once the ether touches something, that thing is forever corrupted. It cannot be undone. Yet, Dr. Monty told us in Origins that he restored Samantha's innocence. So it seems like Monty lied about that, like he did with a lot of other things. Anything that's corrupted by the Dark Ether, it can't be undone. Meaning all of these characters, Richtofen, this version of Maxis doesn't count because it was the one in the original timeline that was infected, not this one. But Samantha, Monty the Shadow Man, their corruption of the Dark Ether can never be undone. Which must mean then that Monty lied in Origins, he didn't restore Samantha's innocence, and she's still corrupted. So getting back to what I was originally saying, is she the cursed one? Is it telling us that she will rise again? And does she have something to do with the zombie outbreak in this new world? Or the other theory is that the cursed one is referring to Dr. Monty. As I've said, he was also infected by the Dark Ether. We learn this from Nikolai and Tagdo Toten. When he's sitting around the campfire with Richtofen, Takeo and Nikolai, he says to them, Monty and the Shadow Man were more similar than you know. Both were corrupted by the Dark Ether, one by his own ambition, the other desperately trying to save his friend. So we know the Shadow Man was corrupted in the beginning when some of the Keepers began to experiment with the Dark Ether. When they did that, it began to corrupt and corrode their souls, and among them was the Shadow Man. He began to experiment with it at his own will, which corrupted him, and in a desperate attempt to save his friend, Dr. Monty tried to help the Shadow Man, but unfortunately, he also ended up getting corrupted as well. They were both good in the beginning, but the Dark Ether corrupted them both. And at the end of Tagdo Totem, when the multiverse was destroyed, all of these characters, Monty, the Shadow Man, Victus, all of our zombies maps, everything that was a part of the Ether timeline was banished back to the Dark Ether. The only two characters that remained was Samantha and Eddie, who walked off into this new world, but Monty and the Shadow Man were banished back to the Dark Ether, and now we've been told that our new zombie storyline takes place in the Dark Ether. As you can see here, it says everything that happened in the Ether story actually happened. At the end of Black Ops 4, our heroes, in their various incarnations, sacrificed themselves in order to collapse the multiverse and banish the evil they bravely fought to the Dark Ether. They hoped their actions would create a new world, a singular reality, one free from the forces of darkness that had plagued their existence. They were half right. I'm not 100% sure if this next chapter takes place in the Dark Ether, or if the Dark Ether is beginning to infect it. Either way, characters like Monty and the Shadow Man are in the Dark Ether, so if it's starting to have influence on this new world, so will things within it. So will Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man. From the first time we were introduced to Dr. Monty, he came across as this godlike figure. He was this all-powerful being that had the ability to influence reality. We saw at the end of Revelations he had the powers to wipe characters out of existence. He began to pretty much delete Primus. That was until he sent them back to the Great War. He also had the powers to move objects around, which is why we found the Pack-a-Punch or the Mystery Box, the war weapons, everywhere we went, because Dr. Monty transported them from place to place. He acted like he was helping us out, but we know really he did all of this to keep our characters in a cycle, to keep them trapped in this same loop. That doesn't necessarily mean he was evil though, and we are even told this in Tagdo Toten. In the radios we can find from Pablo Marinus, he says this when he goes back to the Great War and has a discussion with Richtofen.
This doctor, he tells me one more thing. He tells me he realizes that Dr. Monty is not inherently evil. Dr. Monty, he says, is trying to save the multiverse the safest way he knows how. By forcing us into this cycle, our story will never end. But also, his universe and his existence will be guaranteed. I can't blame him, he says. Dr. Monty is much like you and me. He just wants to survive. He doesn't want to risk his own annihilation. I tell him, well, if we are doomed to meet here again and again until the end of existence, perhaps there is something we can do to change that. He looks at me with a smile and says, I think you are right, old friend.
Richtofen even says he believes Dr. Monty isn't evil. The only reason he did all of this lied and kept us in a loop was to keep himself alive. So does it really mean you're evil if you're doing what's necessary to stop you from dying? Monty knew if Argotha was destroyed, it would mean the end of him. So does it mean you're a bad person if you have to keep Primus and Ultimus in a loop in order for him to stay alive? Richtofen says he wasn't a bad person. Monty just did what he had to do. But at the end of the day, along with the Shadow Man, he was still corrupted by the Dark Ether. However, both had different intentions. The Shadow Man wanted to invade Argotha along with the Apothicons, and Monty was trying to protect it. The Shadow Man was definitely evil, but I don't think Monty was. But now that Monty's plans failed, he is also trapped in the Dark Ether along with the Shadow Man. His intentions may be different, and we even got evidence towards that in Alpha Omega. We saw him eat Dr. Maxis. He killed him. When he found out that the Primus crew knew he was lying and he saw his plan began to crumble in front of him, Monty changed. He turned into his Apothicon form. So now that he's trapped in the Dark Ether along with the Shadow Man, his plans may be different. If he is the cursed one, then it could be that he is trying to escape the Dark Ether and influence this new world. Or the fourth theory is the accursed one is both Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man. At one time, they were one. They were friends. They became split when they were both infected by the Dark Ether, but now that they're both trapped together in the Dark Ether, will they become the one again? Is the accursed one, Dr. Monty, and the Shadow Man as one being? And could this devil-like figure, this graffiti we see on the wall, be him? Is this the one? Will Dr. Monty, the Shadow Man, or both of them rise again? The face does kind of look like what you would expect the devil to look like, and if we listen to what the Shadow Man said about Dr. Monty in Revelations, he told us that Dr. Monty isn't his actual name. He also goes by the Beelzebub, the devil, Satan.
You do realize that he's manipulated you. That's what he does. Dr. Monty is just one of the many names he's been known by. The Great Dragon, the Beast. Is this ringing any bells? Beelzebub, Lucifer, Satan, the Devil.
And also the other writing on the staircase which says, "A world not my own." What is that referring to? Whose world isn't this? Who doesn't belong here? It's all very, very interesting. Remember that this next chapter in Black Ops Cold War Zombies is still canon. It still takes place as a part of the Ether timeline. This is after Tag der Toten. Everything that happened before still took place. So Monty
The SCP Foundation does their best to live.
That took a good, like, good 30 minutes.